The rejig in the BJP's parliamentary board, the party's highest decision-making body, where Union Minister Nitin Gadkari and Madhya Pradesh Chief Minister Shivraj Chouhan have been dropped from the BJP's top decision-making body, which is a major organizational revamp that we are seeing. Vasu is joining us with more details on this. Vasu, first of all, help us understand what this means. How is it that Nitin Gadkari, the former head of the BJP, is out of the parliamentary board?
Well, this is the big breaking news that everyone is trying to sort of get their head around, Maha. So essentially, this is the parliamentary board, just to understand and explain to our viewers. This is one of the top decision-making boards, bodies of the BJP, which takes decisions on important positions within the BJP, including chief ministerial positions and so on and so forth. So membership of this does count. It's not a ceremonial thing. And as you mentioned, the two big exclusions from this have been Nitin Gadkari and Madhya Pradesh Chief Minister Shivraj Singh Chouhan. Now, again, the sort of analysis, the common sense analysis of this, of course, is that Mr. Gadkari is amongst those who's not seen as a core loyalist of the big two of the BJP, Prime Minister Modi and Amit Shah. And to that extent, he's always been somewhat of a kind of an internal critic. He often makes critical comments about the functioning of the government, and he represents an earlier generation of BJP leaders who predate the Modi-Shah era. So he's been excluded from this top body, even though most former presidents do seek and get membership in this body. Also, those who've been included, quite interesting. So Devendra Fadnavis has been included in the election panel of the parliamentary board. He, as we know, is an up-and-coming star of the BJP. This is likely in reward for the fact that he was instrumental in pulling off the coup in Maharashtra, where the BJP is now back in power with a split faction of the Shiv Sena. He's the deputy chief minister there. Maharashtra is, of course, a very important state for the BJP. So his presence there, an indication of all those factors. We're also seeing the entry, somewhat a surprise entry of B.S. Yediyurappa, the aging Karnataka warhorse of the BJP. Now, Mr. Yediyurappa is 77, and his presence is surprising because the BJP is not meant to encourage those beyond the age of 75. But at the same time, he did make way for Basavaraj Bommai in Karnataka. He is an important Lingayat leader. Karnataka is going to polls in the next 7 to 8 months. So that could be the reason why Mr. Yediyurappa has been accommodated. Also accommodated in the parliamentary board is another former chief minister, Sarbanand Sonowal of Assam. Now again, this could be because Mr. Sonowal, as we know, stepped aside to make way for Himanta Biswa in Assam, and the BJP, of course, continues to push into the northeast. So the key takeaway here seems to be, Maha, that the idea is to, in a sense, reward these up-and-coming stars of the BJP, but also those who are seen very much as part of the team Modi and the team Amit Shah camp of the BJP, or the era of the BJP, the Modi-Shah era of the BJP, while those who represent an earlier era, like Mr. Gadkari, have, in a sense, been sidelined. So now this is very much, once again, we're seeing the imprint of the Modi-Shah stamp on the parliamentary board, on the highest tiers of the BJP.
Is it surprising that Yogi Adityanath has not got a place in the parliamentary board? After all, he won Uttar Pradesh for the second time for the party, and it's one of the most important states in North India for the party.
Absolutely, Maha. This was an interesting exclusion. There was a buzz that Yogi Adityanath will find way into the parliamentary board. That was the expectation, but he's not been included yet. Again, the political signals from this are hard to read because, as you pointed out, Yogi Adityanath did deliver an unprecedented second term for the BJP in Uttar Pradesh. He's also one of its prominent stars. He's someone who campaigns regularly outside Uttar Pradesh and is seen, in a sense, as a de facto number 3 within the party after the Prime Minister and Amit Shah. But at the same time, as we do know, there has been a kind of interesting undercurrent between him and the top leadership of the BJP. And in that sense, he also doesn't represent the traditional loyal wing of the BJP within this new Modi-Shah era. So again, this is an undercurrent that is still being decoded, still being processed. We'll hopefully have more analysis on that shortly. But yes, that was an interesting exclusion.
Stay on with us. Let's quickly go across to Shrija as well to get a sense of what she's picking up from the state of Karnataka. Shrija, what are you hearing from, say, B.S. Yediyurappa's camp since he's been included in the parliamentary board? What do his loyalists believe? Will this give some sort of an advantage to the BJP in the upcoming assembly elections? As Vasu was pointing out, a Lingayat leader there being included despite being 75 years of age in the BJP parliamentary board.
Well, firstly, here in Karnataka, there's a lot that's going on here in terms of political developments in Karnataka itself in the last 1 year. Of course, we did go on to see how Mr. Yediyurappa was, in fact, removed from the position of Chief Minister for various reasons. One, of course, was his age. That was not really, going for him. And secondly, there was dissidence within the party. Now, next, straight a year after that, there were talks about whether he will continue to contest elections or not. Now, we just did see how B.S. Yediyurappa just last month, he unofficially, and of course, he did talk about how he will be retiring from the electoral politics. But however, he made an announcement saying that his son, Vijayendra, will be contesting from his constituency, which is Shikaripura in Shimoga. Now, that itself, gave a very significant answers to the BJP High Command itself by saying that, of course, they went on to remove him from the Chief Minister's post. Then next, what we did see the political developments were in Karnataka is that several spheres going against, especially the BJP High Command's decision, also threatening the fact that BJP will not come to power next year, which is the elections due next year, 2023. Now, soon after that, we went on to see how especially B.S. Yediyurappa trying to announce that Vijayendra will contest from his elections. But the question, there was a vacuum. What's really going to happen as far as B.S. Yediyurappa is concerned? In fact, he did go on to promise the BJP High Command that, yes, of course, he will still continue to remain the face of the BJP here in Karnataka because he has always played the role of a mentor and he has always promised, especially, he will tour the state and campaign for the BJP and help it at least achieve at least 120 to 130 votes. Now, of course, that is so much crucial for the upcoming elections as far as the BJP is concerned. Now, at a time when we are just about 7 months away to elections, we see that B.S. Yediyurappa has been inducted into the parliamentary board. Now, that becomes even more crucial. It could also be seen in a way, where the BJP is trying to tell Karnataka, or for that matter, the Lingayat community, which constitutes 18% of the vote for the elections, especially the traditional vote bank of the BJP, that Yediyurappa is still here to stay.